video first. So Alec is kind of getting back to his old style. Maybe he knows how to put asses in the seats for the Baldwin's premiere, which I think is next week.
I mean, it's going to direct the show for what, 10 weeks?
Yeah, probably. But Alec's like, I know what I'll do. I'll start making inane rants on Instagram again. That'll get people watching.
So cinco money.
So Alec is taking Instagram and has some very important things to say, as he always does.
It's a lot of snow here in New York. I'll sneak out here. It's actually turning to rain right now. But got a couple of inches. I don't know, an inch and a half.
Let's go to the Doppler radar. As you see here, there's a cold front moving in from the west.
I want him to be inspired by Al Caprillion. Good evening.
What is he doing? Alec just turned on. This is a decorated Hollywood actor. He just turned on his phone and goes, "Boy, some weather we're having here." I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but in the Northeast, we like to say, if you don't like the weather, just give it 15 minutes. And that always gives me a great deal of laughter. My belly really gets all butterflies when I hear that line.
To New York in wintertime, I love that. It's been a real winter. It's been cold, about 20 degrees. I'm hovering around 25 degrees. Clearly freezing.
Celsius, of course.
Yes, and how about that ride-in, gang? As the traffic is backed up on the BQE, and we've got we're going to go to Hilaria, who's in the chopper right now. Hilaria, what can you tell us from up there?
It's how you say cloudy.
Hi, I'm Alec Baldwin for Weather on the 8s.
I want him to give me my traffic updates every time.
Now get ready, because you might think spring is right around the corner, but our 10-day forecast says otherwise.
Yeah, Panasonic Tooth in the chat says, and here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Now, before we have too much fun, I want to give a reminder that it is Abigail Smith's 97th birthday. Happy birthday, Abigail. Boy, 97 candles. That's got to be a lot to blow out.
He could do it. There is on was it 1030, whatever the hell it is, the AM channel around here.
1010 wins in New York.
I don't remember. Whatever the one around here is, there's in the traffic copter, there is a transgender person. So he'll fit right in. He'll be like, this is what I need after playing Trump.
For like a couple of weeks, and we have snow today. Might have some more snow later in the week. I love snow. I love winter. I love skiing. I love cold weather.
What else do you love? I love blueberries.
I'm a big fan of popsicles.
I love long walks. I love the sound of rain. I love
hot weather. You're going to be in the pool. Anyway, a couple quick things. I played football when I was in high school.
What? He's like Larry King.
That was the most random thing he's ever said.
Couple quick things. I was one heck of a left tackle in my day. They said I wasn't as big as the other boys, but my heart was 10 sizes larger.
And while I have your attention, the YMCA is the gayest song I've ever heard.
He just ends with that.
Next video is him just being like, turns out I didn't know what I was talking about.
I like baking bread. I like a nice glass of tea in the morning.
But you're going to be in the pool. Anyway, a couple quick things. I played football when I was in high school. Not very well. because believe it or not, I was skinny back then. I was really skinny. And these
What, Alec? What is this?
I mean, we've all seen you in the old movies. We know you were thinner.
Hi, this is Believe It or Not with Alec Baldwin. I once played Martin Sheen in a game of chess and won. Did you know that?
us. We had guys on the line and in the backfield who looked like grown men. Steve Forenza was our quarterback. He looked like he was
Hold on. What's that name?
Steve Forenza?
Steve Forenza had one heck of a tight spiral.
He had a rocket arm.
He was, he had a similar thing to Tom Brady, where early in his freshman season, people called him more of a game manager. And boy, later in his career, he was really lobbing them down the field. And it would have been nice to see him get a good, sure pair of hands. But we never had a great receiving game. But with me on the line, I'll tell you, he was very secure.
He never had to worry about his blind side with me out there.
This is really what Alec Baldwin just did. He goes, all right, of course, we're going to hit the weather. We have to get to the weather. We got to take care of business up top. We're gonna get to the weather, but then we're gonna get a little lighter, and we're gonna talk about my high school football days.
Now we're gonna send it over to Alec with sports.
And I took Becky Griffin to the junior dance.
She looked good on my arm at the pep rally.
And, we had a lovely time, but I went to kiss her at the end of the night, and she actually wasn't interested. And, that really bummed me out. But then when I was in Beetlejuice, I guess you could say I got the last laugh, I imagine
I was thin in that movie.
I'm sure she has a lovely family now, but I am Alec Baldwin after all,
in the backfield who looked like grown men. Steve Forenza was our quarterback. He looked like he was a grown man. Our offense, I used to call our offense Tony right, Tony left. If you're out there.
All these people just like, please don't say my name.
He gives no explanation as to why he's doing this, by the way. I call them Tony right and Tony left. Oh, the fun we had in the locker room. And that's back when guys could be guys. And I won't tell you the type of talk that was going on, but it was salty for sure. And, I'm a liberal man. Times have changed. But at that time, we were just having good-natured fun. At least that's how we saw it anyways. And, boy, did Tony right and Tony left to keep Steve Forenza safe back there in the pocket.
I'm naming this episode Steve Forenza.
I feel it has to be, yeah. Respect to Francesco Cinquemani, but we've moved on.
Remember you fondly.
There are people walking by going, oh, is that Alec Baldwin? I wonder what he's talking about. Maybe the Emmys are coming. I mean, the Oscars are coming up. Maybe he's giving his take on that. Nope. He's talking about high school quarterback Steve Forenza. Which, by the way, Steve Forenza is a great failed Jets quarterback name.
Oh my God.
Steve Forenza, he had a short run in training camp with the Jets, but he just didn't have what it took. Sort of a Jason White type of story. The Heisman winner from Oklahoma. That's how I think of Steve Forenza's career. But my God, in high school, could he really zero in with that spiral and hit any target he desired?
Steve Forenza, the original gunslinger. No pun intended.
That's the Brett Favre of his day.
And I just looked it up because I was curious. I guess you can watch Rust on Amazon Prime now.
What was the third thing after weather and sports? Oh, right. Go watch the movie where I shot a woman and ended her life.
Imagine how that would have looked on the snow.
That reminds me. I like cowboy movies. These are great segments. Local news can learn from you. Bam, right out of the gate, weather. hit them with weather before they're even expecting it.
Whoa.
Then you go to the segment I like, where much like a child, Alec Baldwin just lists things he likes for a few seconds. And then you go to sports.
You know, Reservoir. You coming with us?
Make a right.
Come on, you're coming with us.
Please, what a fake laugh. Please, for the love of God, get me out of here where I have to interact with the common man.
Do you know what I do to people who stand in front of me for too long?
Hey, Alec, you done I like yet today?
I'm doing it right now.
That's what he's getting recognized in the streets for. Hey, it's the I like guy. What's he like today?
Oh my God, he's recording on iPad.
Tony right, Tony left.
Did you go back, or did he bring their names up again?
He brought their names up again.
Let me hear that again. We must have missed a segue. He didn't just randomly talk about Tony right and Tony left again.
Oh, you're coming with us.
Tony right, Tony left.
The Twin Towers on our offensive line.
Tony right, Tony
left. Nose tackles shuddered. You would see these gargantuan men, these big-built defensive linemen. They would get weak in the knees when they saw Tony right and Tony left.
It just rewound it again because I don't want you to think that I rewound it. He said it again.
There's no context that I'm missing for Tony right. He doesn't say they're both named Tony and they were both tackles. He doesn't say one's name was Tony right, so the other we called Tony left. He just keeps saying their names for no reason.
And they're coming across this like, shut the fuck up.
Tony right, Tony left. Tony right, Tony left, and we threw the ball not much, I guess.
And it was so sad.
Steve Forenza was a bum.
To see a talent like Steve Forenza thwarted like that. It's like having LeBron James ride the bench early in his career. It didn't make any sense to us. You see a talent like Steve Forenza being held down.
Jerry Lahane in the chat says the guy that talked to him was Opie.
Alec, just walk around. You don't have to have anything. Just walk around the streets, and that's content somehow.
I mean, in this case, it's correct.
Alec is providing something much more than Opie, though. Opie, start doing weather and traffic like Alec.
Opie, kill a fucking cinematographer and then do it.
Money back. I played football, and I was a tackling dummy. And these guys could hit you. That was what it was all about,
Really getting your bell rung. I mean, if that doesn't inject life into you, I don't know what does, quite frankly. And let me just take a moment to say that there's a pile up in front of the Holland Tunnel. So try and avoid that if you can.
Watching Namath hit Maynard on the dead run, that timing that Namath had. I know Namath gets diminished lately. I don't know. Do they think Super Bowl III was a fluke? They played the Colts.
What?
He tried to sexually assault a woman on the sideline. That's kind of the issue.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Joe Namath all of a sudden.
Oh, remember him with Susie Colbert. That was a lot of fun. That was, quite frankly, what I thought. People said that was classic Joe Namath. I looked at that and said, that's classic Steve Forenza. Steve was a real party animal, and that's exactly how he would have done it, by God. Broadway Steve, we called him.
I was going to say Broadway Steve
he was a ladies' magnet and a bit of a booze hound, but not to his detriment. He always got out there on Friday nights and let the pigskin fly.
Was like the man that season, not the United who came in as a backup. But
anyway, but seriously, folks, now that I've done my bits about football and weather, let's get serious for a moment.
the athletic aspect of football, running, catching, throwing, and then hitting. In the end, you realize it's about hitting. These guys would hit you, and it was when I was in high school. It hurt.
You know what I really liked? They don't do it anymore because of that darn concussion movie, but Jacked Up on ESPN, that really got my juices flowing. When Tom Jackson and the boys would yell, "Oh, you got jacked up!" Yes, sir. And that reminds me of what Steve Forenza would do, where he could pinpoint the ball so that two defensemen would clash into each other. That's how amazing this guy was. He could hit the tight end and have the defense running wild in a juxtaposition.
I just received a message from one box eating dad.
What does he have to say?
Who found Steve Forenza?
Boy, was that quick.
Not only did he find him, that's not his real name. It's Forenza.
Well, maybe he said Forenza. It's possible. No,
100 times.
Don't make me go back.
Hold on, I'm going back a little bit.
The athletic aspect of football, running, catching, throwing, and then hitting. In the end, you realize it's about hitting. These guys would hit you.
That's right. As you guys know, I like taking the life out of someone, and that's the feeling I got on the set of Rust, and it's also the feeling I had on the football field when I would just make someone see stars. Boy, that really felt good. And it wasn't, in this time, we didn't know all the namby-pamby concussion stuff that you have today. This is back when men were men, and you could really just get someone's goose out on the field, really smoke them.
It hurt. It really hurt. Freddie Monahan, Jackie Luxinger, Robbie Known.
Freddie Monahan. By the way, the lieutenant in Quincy is named Frank Monahan. Coincidence?
I don't think so. He's willy-nilly with the gun himself.
What is he naming? Offensive lineman?
It's just his whole team. Probably wants nothing to do with this guy.
Listen, I've sung the praises of Tony Wright and Tony Left, but they didn't do it by themselves. So shout outs to Freddie Monahan.
Freddie Monahan, Jackie Luxinger, Robbie Known.
These are great names.
Yeah. Coleman?
What was that? Oh, Jack Coleman. Boy. Now that kid's got what it takes. Have you ever seen, now guys, have you seen this kid? He opens baseball cards online. And you would think that's fairly innocuous, but he does it with such pizzazz that it really, I have to watch when he sometimes he does it with an Irish brogue, and I find that really, frankly, it's just fun, is what it is. If Alec Baldwin was a big Coleman fan,
that would make sense.
Man, I gotta tell you, that Tommy stream, I watched all 36 hours of it. It was.
I put 13 holes in my wall that night.
What's really amazing, did you see Mike's face when Kirk says Jim Tomey? And it went right over Coleman's head. Boy, that kid, he's lovable and infuriating all at the same time. I love that Coleman.
I'm leaving out a lot of names, a lot of names of guys that were just Keith Michaelis, all these guys that when they hit you.
Keith Michaelis. These are good, solid high school football names.
Keith Michaelis? Is that his name?
I think he said Keith Michaels.
Oh, I thought he said Keith Michaelis. I was like,
Keith Michaels definitely died graduation night in a drunk driving accident. We really rallied around the passing of Keith Michaels.
Names of guys that were just Keith Michaelis.
Oh, you're right. He said Michaelis.
He's a Greek, apparently.
Keith Michaelis.
So when they hit you, it really, really hurt. It really, really hurt. So,
hey, shut up, bitch. I'm talking about the bad boys of Long Island football.
Quiet on set.
The fear we provoked in people's eyes. It was like seeing the 80s Raiders come back. Like, and not to brag, but I was there, Bill Romanowski.
I have this Steve Forenza high school photo.
Can we see it? Don't harass Steve Forenza, obviously, but
Oh, he's Steve Forenz to us.
yeah, he'll always be Steve Forenz.
Hold on, I'll pop it up in a second.
Unless it gives out like personal information. But if we got his stats, we got to see those.
No, it's literally just his high school photo. Like, his
okay.
photo.
Box Eating Dad, see if you can find Steve Forenza's stats.
Yeah, find his football stats, please.
Those got to be somewhere.
Of course he.
It'd be great if he's awful. And Alec, like, if we make fun of his numbers, we're like, this guy wasn't even that good. And Alec contacts me, and he's like, you don't understand. That's what I was saying, is he was limited by the coaching staff, and his numbers reflected that. They didn't reflect his talent. You idiot. That's what I was trying to say.
How do you not understand?
I was saying, despite the security that Keith Michaelis and Freddie Monahan provided, along with the Twin Towers, Tony Right and Tony Left,
Michaelis. Hold on.
Freddie Monahan was definitely like the dope. He was an enforcer, but he was like an idiot, a lovable idiot, you know?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's Freddie Monahan.
Oh crap! What I hit. There we go. All right, I'm getting the picture up right now.
All right.
It's some other people. He has them circled for everyone that's watching here.
There we are, the bad boys. And led by our king, Steve Forenz. And, a lot of people think because of the fame and success that I went to, that I was, Mr. Popular. But really, our leader was Steve Forenz. We all looked up to him. The boys wanted to be Steve Forenz. And, of course, the ladies wanted to be with Steve Forenz. He was the prom king, and he's really everything I wanted to be in high school.
There he is, circled on the screen.
Shout out to, is he a good-looking guy?
He's a good-looking guy.
All right, shout out to Steve Forenz.
Broadway Steve Forenz.
America's quarterback.
He was a mid-football player and ended up playing lacrosse in college.
Listen, I know we've interrupted this a lot, and that annoys people. No matter how many times we interrupt this, we still haven't gotten an explanation of who the fuck. Why is he mentioning these people?
Friends with Forenz.
He's like, boy, let me give a quick 10-second synopsis of what Alec Baldwin came on to do here. Boy, it's chilly out here. I like clear blue skies. I played football with Steve Forenz when I was young. That's the video so far.
Don't forget Tony Left and Tony Right.
Freddie Monahan.
That's right.
I like to think he usually goes by Fred Monahan, but Alec and the boys, they call him Freddie.
Back to it.
All right.
To the looking forward to the Super Bowl. It'll be a great game.
It wasn't.
Chiefs win, great. Philadelphia wins, great. I only know I'm a big Saquon.
But I'll tell you, Saquon, he came close to breaking. Is it Eric Dickerson's record this year? Is that what he was approaching? But I'll tell you, he would have surpassed it by miles with Freddie Monahan on the offensive line of that Philadelphia Eagles offense. That would have really been. If Saquon was rushing behind Tony Left and Tony Right, can you imagine what he could have done?
See that running game. When I was younger, we would say if you could be anything in pro sports,
it would be Steve Forenz.
He was a multi-sport athlete.
If you could be one man, it would have been high-flying Broadway Steve.
Years of a healthy career, what would you be? And my friends would say, I'd be a point guard and shoot the ball and be a tennis player and be the champion and
idiots.
Be a heavyweight champion at box. The deadliest relief pitcher in the game, whatever.
Whatever.
Golf. And I said I want to give you the most feared running back in the NFL.
I want people to fear me the way they now do when I'm holding props on a movie set.
Now I'm the most feared actor in a Western movie ever.
Finally, I didn't get it on the gridiron, but finally, people fear me when they are cast in a Western with me. I love that. Alec Baldwin. Like, look at Alec Baldwin and think, this man wanted to be Barry Sanders. That was his great. And by the way, list some more positions in sports, Alec. He's like, you could have played tennis and been a great tennis champion. You could have been a boxer and been a feared heavyweight. You could have played baseball and been a dynamite shutdown relief. We get it, Alec. These are all positions.
You can play golf. You could have been a tremendous putter.
But man, I wanted to burst off that offensive line and really make linebackers quake all around America.
Everybody's ass tightened.
Their asses tightened because I was going to get in that ass. No one with Steve Forenza slinging it and me rushing the ball. There was no stopping us.
Anytime the director says action, everyone's ass tightens behind the camera.
We were like John Elway and Terrell Davis. We really had something special.
Whatever. All those things, golf. And I said I wanted to be the most feared running back in the NFL. When I came on the field, everybody's ass tightened.
It's Alec, and he's got a gun.
Get it down.
No, it's not loaded. Uh-oh.
I'm going to do at least 5-6 yards of carry. Jimmy Brown.
Jimmy Brown. I like that he wanted serviceable numbers.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, I wanted my numbers to be very good. People would look at that and say, boy, that's a tremendously respectable high school running back. Not crazy, though. I'm not asking for mountains here. 5 or 6 yards per carry. I wanted to be, if we needed a first down, I'm your guy. I'm not all flash like some of these guys today.
Give me the ball 2 times.
I wanted to be an electric running back. I wanted to have great numbers. I wanted to be the most feared running back in the NFL.
I wanted to be a head down north-south runner.
just pound the ball. Give it to Alec. And I would tire out defenses.
More sets. All of them. Hundreds of them I could name.
Then do it. I dare you.
I'm not going to, of course. I've already named 50 people I went to high school with for no reason.
He named 2 running backs. He's like, I could name hundreds.
Oh, man. I could go on all day, but I'd rather tell you about Steve Forenza and Freddie Monahan.
I want to be a running back, but again, healthy for 10 years. Anyway, so...
Listen, I still want my wits about me. I don't want to be one of these guys that walks to the end of his driveway and doesn't know where he is. I still want... Rest in peace, Walter Payton, of course. But I would have eaten that guy's lunch. And I'm not being greedy with the ball. I'm not like Saquon where I need these stats. I would have just mercilessly tired out the offense. And then you let Steve Forenza, it's Forenza time after that. Where they're like, is Alec going to pound it again? Oh no, my friends.
You guess what Steve Forenza's current occupation is?
Real estate?
Nope.
What?
Think more in the vein of Quincy.
He's a coroner?
No, close.
Oh, what is he?
He's a morgue clerk.
It really bums me out to see what Steve Forenza has become. I mean, that's a tale as old as time.
Alex, like, it was nice when our work got to cross over. I got to see him again.
That's a tale as old as time. The prom king, the high school quarterback, and now he's still in the town they grew up in, just working at the morgue. Hey, it's a job. It puts food on the table. Oh, Steve, I thought you were going to go for it in the NFL.
He's got the Stanza haircut.
Steve, do you remember when I would tire out that defense and they'd think they're going to run the ball again? Alec is, you got to give it to the hot hand. You got to keep giving it to Alec. And then you would go aerial. Forenza time had defenses second-guessing themselves all over Long Island.
Boxing Dad says Cool Hand Steve.
There's gotta be a play on word with Forenza. I can't get there, but someone will, I'm sure.
We will. Forensic.
Forenzone.
I love football. Last game of the season, it's over. I'm sad. I love football. It's my favorite game.
Sad the season is over. Steve Forenza's career is over. It's all really makes you, when you get to this age, you start to think, and you see Steve Forenza working at a goddamn morgue. You think, what was this all for? You know, he had so much potential. And now, you know, I'll admit, I almost get excited when an old high school pal dies because it means I get to go see Steve Forenza. I stop by the morgue and I see what Stevie's up to. We have a game of catch.
Boxing Dad says Sappers clear the way, Forenza all the way.
Watch out, girls. It's Forenza time.
But I like other sports. You know, I used to go to the Knicks games all the time at the Garden. I love when I was in LA going to the Dodger game. I love LA. I love that.
But I'll tell you what, I would go to the Garden. Allen Houston didn't have shit on watching a Steve Forenza Friday night football game. I'll tell you that much. You can give Carmelo Anthony could have all the flash in the world, but he was no Steve Forenza. Steve played the game the way it should have been played.
Steve was one of a kind, is all I'm trying to say.
Steve could have played basketball if he wanted to, but he chose the gridiron.
Always had a good time there. But football's my favorite. So hopefully a good game tomorrow. Philly and Chiefs. Want to say I put a little post up there, a picture of my pal Tony Roberts, who starred in all those great earlier.
Was that one of the Tonys? That's Tony Middle.
Tony Center.
Great actor, funny, and he was the loveliest guy. He was such a gentleman. He was a very humble guy. I loved him.
He doesn't get an entire post like he was no Francesco Cinquemani, but he was nice to work with, though. He was a heck of a guy.
And last, I was gonna say, shit, I forgot what it was. Something about the government.
Well, let me finish with this. Don't forget to bring your coats out there because it is a chilly one.
It is frosty.
You know, the last couple winters we've been lucky, so just try and remember that as you're clearing your windshields this morning because it is icy out there, gang.
Super Bowl's tomorrow. Snow's on the ground.
What the fuck was it?
Come on, Alec. Think.
That was the end.
That was it?
Yeah.
Alec, you talked about how great Steve Forenza is. You did Weather on the 8s.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You did everyone's favorite game show, I Like, with Alec Baldwin. Shout out to Freddie Monahan and the boys. You memorialized Tony Roberts, of course. Come on, what was it? So this is the reason we have a second Alec Baldwin clip. This is 2 days later.
So I remembered the third thing.
This is when I'm really glad I don't watch these.
Damn it. Come on, Alec. He's sitting around the house. Hilaria's doing her accent and shaking her maracas. And he's like, oh, this bitch. I'll never think of what it was with her making all that racket. I got it. Back to Instagram. This is a day and a half, 2 days later. So Alec, the whole time, was like, come on, Steve Forenza, you nailed that segment.
The snow is frosty.
Did you catch when he was guessing? He goes, was it the government?
Yeah, that's why I was laughing.
Was that? Did I want to Did I want to rail against Trump? What was it, damn it? Come on, Alec, think. These people need to hear my inane observations.
So I remembered the third thing I was going to post the other day, and that is the movie Becoming Led Zeppelin. I went to the IMAX right near
This is
Lincoln Center. I went to that one on Broadway
Government.
and watched in IMAX Becoming Led Zeppelin. It is so wonderful.
I just remembered. I knew I had to tell you guys this. I went to the movies. Of course, I did weather and sports. Naturally, I had to get to entertainment.
It's so beautiful. And of course, there's only voice tracks, interview tracks of Bonham because he didn't do a lot of press and he died, obviously. So he wasn't available. But John Paul.
He wasn't available.
There.
He died 40 years ago.
He was not available for comment.
I assume they reached out to John Bonham, but his line was disconnected for one reason or another. I hope he's all right. Shout out John Bonham. We're praying for you, buddy.
In full glory, talking about their careers. And you realize that all these bands that are these great bands, it's work. The songwriting, the touring.
That reminds me, speaking of death, Ethel McGillicuddy is turning age 100 today. Congratulations, Ethel.
Ethel McGillicuddy.
It's work. It's a lot of work. So these guys worked hard to become Led Zeppelin.
So really, let's just give it up for Led Zeppelin, huh? Boy, they worked their tails off.
Being at one point the most famous band on earth is a lot of work.
Whether you're Steve Forenza and your dreams died and you work at a morgue, or you're Led Zeppelin, let's just give it a shout out to working hard. What do you say?
It's a morgue clerk.
Broadway Steve Forenza. Listen, there's nothing wrong with being a morgue clerk, but when you have the weight of being Steve Forenza in high school on your shoulders.
Alec Baldwin is talking how great you are at everything.
Alec Baldwin was your running back. He just set him up so Steve Forenza could knock him down.
I'm very nostalgic for my music. I grew up in an era that was not exclusively, but the real pillars were Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin, Who.
Boy, you really go deep, huh, Alec?
Wow.
I can't believe I forgot this. I wanted to give you guys a recommendation. That was the third thing. Have you heard of a band called Led Zeppelin?
You by any chance heard of the Beatles?
They're pretty obscure. I tried to get John Bonham on to promote his little project, and he has not returned my call.
Yeah, the Beatles were this obscure band that only played live shows for about 7 years.
Their frontman was John Lennon, and I'm not sure what happened to him.
I haven't heard from him in a while.
It says here he was last seen at some sort of book signing for Catcher in the Rye. I don't know why he would have been there, but
I really that was the foundation, and then around that there was everything else. The Grateful Dead and Crosby, Stills, Nash, and then Young, Moody Blues, Frank Zappa, on and on and on.
Man, this guy has some obscure tastes.
I will say Zappa kind of was obscure.
Everyone knows the name Frank Zappa at this point.
That's true, I guess, but his music was weird.
I suppose, yeah.
Wait, Becoming Led Zeppelin, the documentary, go see it. Go see it.
Finally, it's like I had a sneeze caught for 2 days, and finally I've got it out. It's like having a song stuck in your head. It was really bugging me. It was on the tip of my tongue. I thought, what was that third thing? And then I realized what I had to do was get on Instagram and recommend a documentary about Led Zeppelin, something you guys never would have found without me.
I got Steve Forenza up on the screen one more time for everybody.
Shout out Steve Forenza.
He's an incredible guy.
He really is. Well, he was.
He was. Now he's the last thing all our relatives see.
He's the Grim Reaper. Which would have been a great football name. No, the Grim Reaper was Freddie Monahan. Weren't you listening to me?
Oh, man.
Oh, was that the end of Alec's video?
That was the end of Alec's video.
Okay, well, good. I like Alec's new fuck the reality show. I wish he would just do that every day.
That would be incredible. He'd be back in the good graces pretty quick.
Alec made that first video, and then the whole day went by. He literally watched the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He watched Kendrick's halftime show, saw the Eagles upset the Chiefs. Who would have expected? He sees Taylor Swift get, and in the middle of all that, the biggest thing I got it. It was that Led Zeppelin documentary. Damn it!
Hey, Laria. Turns out that Drake's a pedophile. I really truly Led Zeppelin.
To Instagram. Boy, Tom Brady hasn't really found his way as a Led Zepp, the documentary. Yes. I love you, Alec. Keep making videos like that. And shout out to Steve Forenza. Listen, not all our dreams work out, but you had the high school days, baby. You know, and maybe he likes maybe he's at peace and he likes being a morgue clerk. Who am I to judge?
Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Krager's did it.